Why did God allow polygamy in the Bible? The Bible never explicitly condemns polygamy, but God's ideal for marriage is clear throughout Scripture. One man with one woman. The first mention of polygamy in the Bible is in Genesis chapter 4, verse 19, where Lamech is said to have married two women. Several well-known figures in the Old Testament like Abraham, Jacob, David, and Solomon had multiple wives. In fact, Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. So why did God allow this in the Old Testament, and what does that mean for us today? Why was polygamy allowed in the Old Testament? The Bible doesn't give a direct answer as to why God allowed polygamy, but one possible reason is that it provided protection for women in patriarchal societies. In those days, unmarried women had little means to provide for themselves and often faced harsh alternatives like slavery or prostitution. By allowing polygamy, God may have been ensuring that these women were cared for. Though not ideal, it was a better alternative to the suffering these women might have otherwise faced. Additionally, polygamy allowed for a faster expansion of humanity, fulfilling God's command to be fruitful and multiply in Genesis 9:7. How does God view polygamy today? Even though the Bible records instances of polygamy, it consistently presents monogamy as God's ideal for marriage. Genesis 2:24 is clear when it says, "A man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife," not wives. In the New Testament, polygamy is not seen as part of God's plan. Leaders in the church, according to 1 Timothy 3:2 and Titus 1:6, are to be the husbands of one wife. This principle of monogamy applies not just to church leaders, but also to believers. Ephesians 5, verses 22 to 33 also uses a singular when talking about husbands and wives, reinforcing that God's design for marriage is between one man and one woman. So why did polygamy change? Polygamy wasn't part of God's original plan, as seen in Genesis chapter 2, where marriage is portrayed as a union between one man and one woman. While God allowed polygamy to address specific societal issues, it wasn't his ideal solution. Today, there's no longer a societal need for polygamy. Women in most modern societies today can provide for themselves, and most nations outlaw the practice of polygamy. According to Romans chapter 13, verses 1 through 7, Christians are called to obey the laws of the land, including those that prohibit polygamy. Does polygamy honor God? In modern times, there's no real need for polygamy, and it doesn't align with God's design for marriage. The one flesh aspect of marriage mentioned in Genesis chapter 2 emphasizes unity and harmony, which is difficult to achieve in a polygamous relationship. For these reasons, polygamy does not honor God and is not part of his design for marriage. What do you think? Does understanding the context of polygamy in the Bible help clarify its role and God's plan for marriage? Let me know in the comments, and if you're looking to explore more biblical insights, don't forget to check out Pillar College at pillar.edu.